Hello, everyone. Eric. Uh, Glad you could make it. You have 6 hours to click on that link. So if you don't get it within the 6 hours, reach out to me on Facebook. All right. Let's wait for Die. I've also been messing with a few things on the computer. Oh, as you can see, there is no mattress or box spring behind me because Leo finally put his bed together. So, I've been messing around with the computer a little bit, trying to override HDR settings. None of my monitors support HDR, but there is a way to get HDR enabled and trick all the Steam games to actually play in HDR. There's a few things that I still need to play around with. It still doesn't work, but I did find an application that allowed me to invent an invisible monitor. So I have a 3 display setup, but I only have 2 monitors. So the third monitor is technically invisible, which has HDR. So I just have to figure out how to set up HDR to get HDR to be able to be recognized on all of the games. I won't be able to see it on any of my monitors. It's going to look strange, but on stream, it should be able to be picked up on stream if you've got HDR, if you have an HDR monitor. The only reason why I'm doing this is to maximize a lot of my settings and hopefully not get it so it's not stable, because with HDR a lot of the settings should balance itself out. That doesn't mean that it's not going to use more VRAM. It's just that with HDR, a lot of the settings that would normally cause instability, HDR would balance a lot of that out, because it'll give you a brighter picture and everything like that. And that's kind of the reason why I want HDR to be able to be implemented. Granted, I could get an HDR TV and that would solve my issue, but a little bit more work, because that requires me to spend money on a $200-300 computer. Hey boss, got locked up. If you scroll up, there's a link right there. It's only good for you, and it's good for 6 hours. You're welcome. Phone controller. That's good. I'll adjust your roles for that one, and I don't know what you're gonna do with the other account. I would suggest trying to get reconnected to that. And now that you've got 2 accounts, I would say you're gonna want to use your second account as a security thing. This way you can actually go and access your other account and do screenshots and send it to Discord support. It is going to take a week before you can get connected to it. And yesterday I played Resident Evil 3 Remake with ray tracing turned on. I was able to figure out how to fix the settings onto it. And I don't know if you were here when I was trying to explain that I'm trying to get HDR settings to be overridden. Yeah, you missed it, but the good thing is that there's going to be more Resident Evil 3 Remake coming up. But you missed the scenes where I played Carlos in RPD. So that was that. And I saved it at the hospital. And I had to kill the nemesis. Well, I say kill, but killing him is not the right word at the moment. So right now we're waiting for Diusi, who probably went to take a shower. Are you, where? Oh yes, there you are, Di. I did not see you pop up. Sorry about it. I'm already here. All right. Whoa. No sense in waiting. And I do have the Facebook page set up. So if anyone has Facebook and is interested in following our Facebook page, that's the official Facebook page. All right. All right. Well, I never expected this. Who'd have thought we'd be back here again so soon? We are on a study tour of Great Britain, with the intention of learning the country's legal practice. In order to research the latest court procedures here, we need as much court experience as possible. Now, yes, I suppose that's true, but for the person in the dock, it may well be his or her one and only time in court, and it could be life-changing, in which case, treating it as research may seem a little crass. Oh, when you put it like that, you're quite right. Good morning! Ah, Mr. Natsume. Good morning. Oh dear, are you alright? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot. The early bird catches a worm, as they say here in Britain. You probably didn't get to bed until 5 o'clock in the morning, and what time is it now? 7 something? So you probably only got 2 hours of sleep? Yes, I've heard that expression, but I really don't want to catch a worm. So I tried desperately not to wake up early, but I was so worried I couldn't catch a wink. And now I'm absolutely exhausted as a result. Do all literary people take things so literally? Thank you for putting your faith in us today, Mr. Natsume. I wish I had 9 lives. My whole future hangs in the balance. I'm too terrified to tremble. Aren't you trembling now? Really? Because I can feel tremors in the floor. I can't do this. I can't take it. Although, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, yes? I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by the courtroom. It looked like the opening night of the opera. There were so many people. I had no idea my case was such a notorious affair here in London. Oh, neither did I. Do you know why that might be, Mr. Sato? I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, but I have no idea. So, that all-knowing look on your face is just coincidence then, is it? Don't hide the truth from me! It's because of the Reaper, isn't it? Lord Van Zeeks? Is that right, Mr. Sato? I purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning, and yes, Lord Van Zeeks is on the front page of every one. I knew it. Sometime after the prosecutor was dubbed the Reaper of the Bailey, he stopped appearing in court, it seems. It's been several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday. Yes, Inspector Gregson told us something similar, didn't he? The trial 2 days ago marked Lord Van Zeek's return to the courtroom after a very long hiatus. The trial of Magnus McGilded. What a harrowing experience that was. I believe that appearance made even greater waves here in the capital than today. But we wouldn't have realized, of course, having only just arrived in the country. Why is the Reaper back in the Bailey so soon for what appears to be a mundane murder? That's the question the papers are asking, and they're all speculating various answers. Mundane? Mundane? It's the most significant saga of the century to some of us. Well, considering you're not that important, Sasaki, I don't think people care. Oh dear, I meant no offense, Mr. Natsume, but that is how the papers are describing it. Well, lest we also forget the fact that it could spark an international incident. Obviously, the reappearance of this infamous prosecutor has caught people's attention. There's another blatant similarity with the trial 2 days ago. Yes, I agree. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, it's you! Me? Well, I suppose that's true. Both times it is you who stands against the legendary prosecutor. It can only mean that you're friends with the Reaper. Please, I don't rub shoulders with deathbringers. I'm afraid that there's really only one other explanation. It can only be another example of Mr. Naruto of your uncommon bad luck. Thanks for that. Oh, this is just my luck. Why must I be represented by a man with such frail fortune? By the least lucky lawyer alive. Well, let's not forget that it was you, Mr. Natsume, who asked me to represent you. Yes, it's true that I'm just a student, new to London, with little in the way of experience or skills or luck. But I promise you this, I will fight your corner. I will fight your corner until the bitter end. And I will believe in you, Mr. Natsume. Oh, benevolent locum student Mr. Naruto Esquire. You're not alone here with us, Mr. Natsume. Whatever happens, we will always be on your side. Oh, benevolent non-locum assistant Miss Mikotoba Esquires. I am in your debt forever. I shall never okay. I shall never forget this great kindness for as long as I live. Mr. Natsume, counsel for the defense. The court session is about to begin. Kindly make your way into the courtroom at once. All right then, Mr. Natsume, it's time. Let's go. Yes! This is it. My second appearance in a British courtroom. And my second trial against the Reaper. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Hello, Alley Bird. Because this time, I won't let my faith waver. I'll believe in my client to the last. Just like you believed in me. I believe I can do this now. I'm ready for this fight. NAN, Old Baby Courtroom. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsel for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord. The Nipponese are a truly fascinating breed. Sorry, what? Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. That you are a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago. A mere amateur. Do you have a point? Being a compatriot, you feel compelled to try to help the accused, I suppose. Typical Nipponese arrogance. Forgive me, but I do not believe arrogance is an appropriate description. Sasato-san. After all, at our previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent. Very true, and a most fascinating, dark trial it was, too. The tragic conclusion came later, of course. Here's to the acquitted and his unfortunate violent end. Thank you, counsels. I see both sides are in fine fettle. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Are you ready to carry out your duties here in court as impartial members of the public? You never know when you might be down on your luck, but I believe in fair play for everyone. Well, I must warn you, I'm rather more ruthless than I appear. Oh, well, not me. What you see is what you get. I'm a peace-loving fellow. I'm afraid to say, I think it's quite possible that Mustache Foreigner did the deed. Why are you even a jury? You're kind of, you're kind of associated with the crime being his landlord. Come on, what are we waiting for? No doubt he did it anyways. Hey, sorry, didn't quite catch that. Very well, let us proceed. Your opening statement, if you please, Lord Van Zeep. Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with a rising power in the Far East. The accused in the dock today is a student from the same land, a certain Mr. Saseki Natsume. And while our country has extended this foreign student the warmest of welcomes, regrettably, the kindness has not been returned. In fact, the student is accused of a most sinister act of plunging a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street. A knife crime! I tell you from bitter experience, those are the worst, bloody oath they are. Just look at this sallow complexion and short stature. He's one of those dreadful Japanese. Come on, let's get this over with. With me now, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Hey, sorry, didn't quite catch that. Pray, forgive the discourtesy of smashing my hollow chalice here in this great chamber. Allow me to call the first witness to the stand. Very well. Bailiff, lead the inspector in, please. Your name and occupation, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard. Will you please summarize the events of the case for the court, Inspector? The victim is thought to be a young woman in her 20s by the name of Olive Green. I beg your pardon, Inspector? Thought to be? Yes, having been stabbed in the back by her attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. That was 3 days ago now, and she's been comatose ever since. I wonder if we squeeze her and she'll become olive oil. What? So they don't even know who she is for sure? Comatose. But her life is not in danger? Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge will not be murder. Pray elaborate on the details, Inspector. Sir, if I could ask everyone to look at this street lamp. Did I say street lamp? Street map. As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago, at around 5 in the afternoon. It happened on the pavement running alongside Briar Road, a wide thoroughfare for horse-drawn vehicles. It had not long since stopped snowing as the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street. Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. Luckily, the young lady's life was spared, and she's currently being treated in one of the city's hospitals. But being unconscious as she is, we've been unable to take a statement from her, of course. This is the case file with everything we know about the victim so far. Thank you, Inspector. The court will accept the documents as evidence if you please. What of the weapon that was used? Sir, I have that here. It was removed from the victim's back. Ouch, that big thing is starting to make me scared to walk down the street now. A heavy blade like that, almost anybody would have been able to stab the poor woman. Even this ragged-looking Saseki-san, I suppose. Common or garden jackknife, I would say, rather nondescript. Thank you, Inspector. The court accepts the blade as evidence. Really? A jackknife? So it's just your common pocket knife. Now then, what do we know of the motive? Money or valuables, I presume? From what we can tell by looking at the woman's possessions, it seems like she's a poor student herself. Hard to imagine she would have had anything much worth pinching, my lord. Let's see. Well, in that case, are we looking at some deep-seated resentment toward the victim? I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from visiting second-hand bookshops, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, doesn't appear to get out much. At this moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim.
Yes!
If theft and grievance had been ruled out as the motive, what reason could Mr. Natsume possibly have had for stabbing the young woman? Yet you arrested the man in spite of that in a totally unjustified and heavy-handed way?
Objection!
Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the public gallery. But your words have soured its hallowed bouquet. For it is you, my learned friend, who is being heavy-handed here. What? Scotland Yard does not arrest people without good cause. That should be beyond question. Inspector Gregson, the prosecution calls for your formal testimony. Explain to the court precisely why the constabulary came to arrest the Nipponese student. Yes, sir. As I said, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred. There was an unusually light fog. Visibility was reasonably good, and there was no one else about the victim and the accused. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor. Those being a number of old books he just bought. He was on his way home from a bookshop, it seemed. It was just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the bloke to arrest him. Old books, you say? Yes, my lord. I have a photograph here of the scene of the crime, taken immediately after the incident. Ah, yes. It's in color. I can clearly see the books to which you are referring. I will take the photographic print as evidence, please, Inspector. You Nipponese are a spineless breed, too cowardly to admit defeat, denying everything despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Well, forgive me, Lord Van Zeke. The defendant is not denying everything as you put it. What are you doing, Mr. Sato? You go on. Mr. Natsume has admitted to playing some part in the incident. Isn't that right, Mr. Nadahudo? Well, now that you mention it, when we visited him in the prison yesterday, he did tell us what had all happened. As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat she was, and just as I went to overtake her, she suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the cold hard slabs of stone at my feet. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran, as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodging. A green overcoat? Well, that's exactly what the woman in the print is wearing. Oh my, a photographic print in full color? What will the world come up with next? The defendant has done nothing more than admit he fled the scene of a terrifying incident. That does not mean that he's guilty of the heinous crime of stabbing the woman in the back. There was nobody else there at the time. Just the two of them, the victim and the accused. In other words, there's nobody else who could possibly have stabbed the woman. In fact, that the accused concedes. Seems the cross-examination could prove to be pivotal, counsel. Proceed, please. Yes, my lord. Nothing for it. I have to use this cross-examination to turn the tables here. Our only chance. This is a sixth statement testimony.
Hold it!
A light fog, you say? Well, light for London. You could see the opposite side of the street for once. How much farther, though? That's light? Is it? Around these parts, yes. Not something I'd expect a Japanese fellow like yourself to know, of course. I've read that London is famous for its fog. But in my country, people usually imagine that gives the city a rather beautiful appearance. How quaint. Yes, well, it's not something us Londoners tend to romanticize, as I expect you can appreciate. I see. At this time of year, the fog causes a large number of accidents, especially when it's heavy. Sometimes you can't even see your own hand at the end of your arm. Indeed. The other day, I was very nearly trampled by horses before I could see the carriage they were pulling. Sato-san and I should definitely remember to stop, look, and listen. However, on the day that concerns us, the fog was somewhat lighter than usual. A fact no doubt lamented by the accused. Visibly was reasonably good, and there was no one else about but the victim and the accused. Alright, I'll wait.
Hold it!
How are you able to state that with any certainty? Quite simply, my learned friend, because that is what the witness to this crime had told us. Ah, yes, Inspector Gregson mentioned the witness yesterday, didn't he? That's right. One of them is a policeman, I believe, from Scotland Yard. That is correct, ma'am. Then we must hear their testimony. The prosecution will, of course, call them to the stand, should it be necessary. Wait a minute. Oh. So he was in the garbage. But wait a minute. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of winter, it would have been dark already. You guys spanked before, cat. That. No matter how light the fog might have been, no one could have seen. I'm unaware of the situation on your tiny island in the east. But here in the capital city of Great Britain, all main roads are illuminated in the night by gas streetlights. Ah. The prosecution believes there would have been ample light by which to witness the crime. Quite. Here in London, for the first time in history, mankind has completely conquered the darkness. Which means we really need to hear those witness statements. If I could just get through the fog of this cross-examination, maybe we'll be able to. It seems the counsel for the defense is taking stock. Continue with your testimony, Inspector. See it. From behind, you say? That's right. As you can see from this print. Yes, quite so, Inspector. The handle of the weapon is clearly protruding from the victim's back. You say this poor woman, Miss Green, remains in a critical condition? Comatose, no less? I'm afraid so, my lord. Yes, she's been treated at Park. I was hopeful that she'd come around before the trial started so I could take a statement, but it wasn't to be. Yes, that is indeed a pity. It would have been most illuminating to hear the victim's own account of events. Luckily, luck is on your client's side, it seems. On the contrary, my client has been exceedingly unlucky. Your force of tone is seriously undermined by those disturbingly wide eyes, I'm afraid. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor. He says floor like outside you've got a floor. Mr. Natsume's belongings. I think you'll find it's all there in the photographic print of the crime scene. Yes, the 3 books on the floor. That's right, my lord. Second-hand books, they were. Irreparably damaged after falling in the snow, of course. The accused could easily have carried all 3 books in one hand, which means his other hand would have been free to wield a knife, for example. He's very clever, isn't he? What do you mean? He's made it extremely hard for you to assert that Mr. Natsume has had his hands full with his book. He's managed to close the one avenue of escape we might have had before we even knew it was there. You mean to say the defendant was holding his belongings as he thrust the knife into the woman's back? That must be what happened, my lord, yes? Uh-oh.
Hold it!
The defense apparently visits a second-hand bookshop on a daily basis. Yes, so I understand. A shop full of old English literature. I commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of his scholarly attention. The bloke's room was stacked floor to ceiling with those musty old books. Can you tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector? Well, if I must, I'll have to ask you to look at the street map again, I'm afraid. The closest second-hand bookshop to the accused's lodgings is a place here, Urban Book, a little place on the corner of Briar Road and Mersham Street. As it happens, the accused is currently living in lodgings on the other side of Briar Road at the opposite end, which means it doesn't take a genius to work out the route he would have taken home. Something like this. But is that right? Because if I remember correctly, there's another bookstore in London. Yes, I concur with your conclusion, Inspector. The defendant would certainly have passed the scene of the crime on his way home from that particular shop. Mr. Nadahudo, I think that what the inspector just told us could turn out to be a vital importance. Yes, I agree. The most important point that the inspector just made being only one actually makes much sense. Name? We'll give it a shot. Inspector Gregson, may I ask you a favor? What? Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I believe it may be of vital importance. Maybe? Oh, well, you know, I mean, yes. It could be a very important clue. Very well, not that I can see it being of any great significance. But please revise your testimony accordingly, Inspector. Yes, sir, my lord. Whatever you say. Could the man be any more sardonic? He was on his way home from Bourbon Books, the second-hand bookshop he apparently patronizes.
Hold it!
So the shop is called Bourbon Books, is it? That's right. That's the closest second-hand bookshop to the accused's lodging. And to get from there back to his room, he would have gone right past the very spot where the incident took place. If I could just confirm one point, can we be sure that the defendant really did visit Bourbon Books on the day in question? Well, we haven't actually confirmed it, no. Lurk, lurk. You haven't confirmed it? Why the devil not, Inspector? Well, the thing is, the shopkeeper's gone on a trip, you see. Left the morning after the incident to collect more stock, I'm told. So we, haven't been able to ask the bloke if the accused visited his shop on the day in question or not. So why didn't you go to the other bookstore to see if he's went to the other one? If he didn't go to that one, that rules out that bookstore. Why are you wasting your time? Well, in that case, what did the defendant himself have to say about it? No recollection. What? According to the statement he made at the time, the accused has no recollection of where he'd been. Of course he doesn't. The bloke clearly had his head in the clouds whenever he's walking about town. He claims he just wanders into whatever bookshop he happens to be passing and rarely notices the name. I should say the man ought to learn to look where he's going at the very least. Oh, just as I thought then. Is something the matter? Inspector, you may continue with your testimony. It was just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the bloke to arrest him.
Hold it!
You asked for the help of the famous detective Sherlock Holmes to locate the defendant, I believe. Stuff and nonsense. Sorry? The Jack in office, that busybody, just comes and sticks his oar in whenever we ask him or not. But according to what I have here, Mr. Sholmes was shown to the scene by Scotland Yard detective. Well, that was nothing to do with me. The lads at the scene must have done it without my permission. Ah! I'm telling them time and again, whenever something happens, send word to headquarters. Then follow your bloomin' instructions. You see, that meddler gets his hands on any details, we'll all be reading it in the Rants magazine next month. And you can bet your last farthing that I'll be in there too, stripped of all my hard work on the case. Yes, Mr. Sholmes. No, Mr. Sholmes. Aren't you clever, Mr. Sholmes? That's all the thanks I'll be getting. Inspector, if the man is proving detrimental to the yard's activities, perhaps I should step in and deal with him? Arr! It appears Inspector Gregson is lost for words. Yes, the Reaper's words carry a lot of weight, obviously. Anyway, the point is this. That little Japanese bloke's already admitted it. He's admitted that those books all over the pavement at the scene were the ones he bought that day. What do you think, Mr. Naruto? You're unable to sway the jury during this cross-examination. I'm afraid that Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed. Yes, they're sure to find him guilty. So one way or another, I'll have to expose an undeniable inconsistency in the inspector's testimony. All right. A new one. All right. So, which one are we choosing? This one really should be an easy one. Book receipt, let's examine it. Or a book.
Objection!
If if I could just stop you there, Inspector Gregson. What is it, Sunshine? I'm a busy man, you know. This is a receipt that we found in Mr. Natsume's room. It was issued on the day of the incident and details the purchase of 3 second-hand books. And you found that in the accused's room, did you? Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it. Go on. This receipt was issued from a bookshop called Your Book. Your Books? Y-O-R-E, I presume? Yes, my lord. Mr. Natsume did indeed purchase a number of books at a second-hand bookshop that day. However, the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Book. What? Inspector, do you know of this other bookshop? Yes, sir. Your Books is another second-hand bookshop not far from the Bourbon Book. It's just that, well, it's such a small place, I didn't think the accused would have known about it. But in fact, that is the bookshop which the defendant visited on the day in question. And this receipt proves
Objection!
it. Yes, for what difference it makes. Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis. I disagree. I mean, after all, I had the street map here if that might be of help. Oh, yes, thank you. Have a look at this, please. If the defendant had been returning from Bourbon Book, then yes, he would almost certainly have passed the place where Miss Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact that he was actually at another bookshop, Your Book, it may very well turn out that he wouldn't have passed that location at all. Could that be true? My. It rather depends on where this other bookshop is, but I do declare it may be a possibility. Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir? What you just said? Absolutely. It absolutely could be right. Inspector Gregson, where is this Your Books establishment? Well, obviously we looked into that. It turns out that Your Book is just here on the next corner of Amersham Street going east. And there you have it. As you can clearly see now. Oh. My learned Nipponese friend is obviously in training to be a clown. The way he regales us with such witticism. To your future career in the circus. You put that glass down now, or I'll put it down for you. I didn't think I needed to spell it out, but here we go. If the accused was coming home from Your Books instead of Bourbon Books, there's no doubt he still would have passed the place where the victim was stabbed. Yes, thank you, Inspector. Allow me to reiterate for my learned, if somewhat slow, Nipponese friend. Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis. Just like how I pulled this chalice out of my ass and broke it again. Ah! As I suspected, you can't fool me. And I don't suggest you try. What did I say, eh? I've had enough of this now. Beg your pardon? terribly sorry, but would you mind repeating that? Mr. Nadahudo, we mustn't give up. What do you mean? The prosecution's assertion is correct. The members of the jury may very well decide that Mr. Natsume is guilty. Ah, he's absolutely right. We must think. We must consider the assertion just put forward by the prosecution very, very carefully. It claims Sasaki-san must have passed the location of the incident on his way home from your books, but raise an objection. The assertion just made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed. Explain yourself, Consul. Yes, my lord. You can see what I mean on this map. When returning from your books and to his lodging, Mr. Natsume could have followed the route suggested by the prosecution. However, that isn't the only conceivable route to take between the two places. The defendant used those streets. Look what happened. He arrives back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was attacked.
Objection!
Talking back to a clown is a fool's errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point out that that route is what is commonly referred to as the long way route. Ah. On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer route home? Well, because it's Sasaki Natsume. The answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't. In other words, the accused took the obvious route back to his lodging and is the obvious perpetrator of this crime. To be honest with you, I don't see that there's actually a difference between the distance. There's a lot more turns, and there's one extra corner to go around. Actually, no.
Objection!
Yes, I've got it. Obviously, we must ask the man himself. Ask Mr. Natsume which route he took home. I have already informed the court of the accused's response to such questioning. He claims he has no recollection. That's right. As I said, the bloke seems to spend his time outside wandering aimlessly from A to B. That day was no exception. He says he doesn't remember where he was or which route he took home. I don't believe this! I thank you, my learned friend, and suggest that we do not waste any more of the court's time by wandering aimlessly around this subject. Pray, what say you insightful jurors? But even if that is the case, the defense still... I agree with Lord Van Zee. Wholeheartedly, and in every way. What? I don't believe it. Does this mean we members of the jury are completely convinced now? Very well. In that case, I hereby call upon all members of the jury to present your findings to the court.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty!
Guilty.
It would appear the jury's leaning is unanimous. To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolve. You serve Queen and country admirably. You're not a Hudo. No, not yet. This isn't over yet. Still have one last chance to sway the opinion of the jury. I have to tip the balance of those scales the other way. I have to turn this around. Somehow. Those are the eyes of the quarry, not yet willing to give up and die. So I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial? Rights of the defense written into antiquated British law that should have been buried long ago? Call it antiquated if you will, but it's the defense's prerogative to carry out a summation examination if it so chooses. Very well, counsel. In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with the summation examination. Are the members of the jury ready, Mr. Foreman? Of course we're ready. I'm all too familiar with that Nipponese whippersnapper and his uncas refusal to throw in his alley. Very well then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty. For pity's sake, that little Nipponese oddity already admitted to himself, didn't he? If he said that a woman in green collapsed before his eyes, why, it can only have been the victim. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter. The poor woman was attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful. I really don't care. Can't we just wrap this up now? I've got work to be doing. Your books, yes. Nice shop, that. But urban books? No, not worth a visit. With only a minor exception, the reasons for finding the defendant guilty are all too clear. When the stabbing occurred, the only two people at the scene were the victim and the accused himself, as admitted to seeing the victim in her green overcoat sink in the ground before his eyes. Furthermore, we have heard from the inspector that the defendant then fled the scene. I must say, I would have ample grounds to convict this man already. Oh dear, even the judge appears convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt now. Why did he have to run away like that? And how are we supposed to believe in some phantom attacker that nobody could see? This is impossible. How can I possibly make a case for the defense? Mr. Nadahudo, this is no time for grumbling. If we want to force the trial to continue, yes, no, I have to turn the tide. I must make the jurors change their mind. Well, 4 of them at least. Exactly. We have no choice but to forge forward. You have the floor, counsel. Begin your summation examination. Yes, my lord. I just need to keep this trial going somehow. Whatever it takes. Come on, Rinosuke. You can do it.
Hold it!
Excuse me, but aren't you? Yes, that's right. I was in the witness stand myself just 2 days ago. Yes, I had a feeling I knew your face. Oh, press 5. Okay. Yes, I had a feeling I know your face, or the side of it anyways. If I remember correctly, you're a banker, aren't you? That's right. After the gold rush down under, I came back to London to work. And it was all going swimmingly until you started fossicking around Bruce Bearplay was a man of repute. Sorry? Don't think I've forgotten how you treated me the other day. You had me and that young hatter pegged as criminals. Well, you know, water under the bridge. Now there's all sorts of rumors buzzing around, and the police have been badgering me non-stop. If I could turn back the clock. Well, anyways, I don't know about the hatter, but at least I'm in the clear now. And free to make up my own mind about who's guilty and who isn't. Ah, thank goodness. Alright, maybe I might struggle to change this man's mind, given our awkward history. Oh dear, I wonder what's become of Mr. First now. Alright, so you want... press 5.
Hold it!
A man's life is on the line here, sir. This will take as long as it takes. Don't get clever with me now, son. My life's on the line too. So is my family. Huh? The likes of you wouldn't understand, but a laborer like me can't afford to take time off. If I don't work, I don't eat. And neither do the wife and the kids. Oh, I see. That must be very hard. I go to the union every morning to find out what needs doing. If you're late and the work's taken, it's tough. This time of year, there's water and gas supply pipes bursting left, right, and center. They're after cheap labor to get the roads dug up to fix it. A hard slog from dawn to dusk, it is. So, you were out digging up the roads on the day of the incident as well, were you? That's right. In fact, if I remember rightly, it was just around the corner from where it all happened. That old bookshop, it was... What? Another coincidence? That's right. Mersham Street it was. Mersham Street? On the map, Mr. Naruto, there are only 3 named streets. Juror number 5, I need you to add that information to your formal statement, please. What's the point in that? Can we just get this business over with now? Please, sir, it's important. Okay, fine, I'll do it then. On the day it happened, I was digging up Mersham Street from dawn to dusk. Alright. Hit 3 and 5.
Objection!
These 2 statements are clearly at odds with one another. At odds, counsel? Explain yourself. Please, don't point! It wasn't me, I swear! What? I just... want to get this done and dusted. Well, juror number 3. Oh, me, sir? What do you mean? Juror number 5's words just now are extremely significant. Let's take a moment to consider the implication of what's been said on our map of the local area. On the day in question, Mr. Natsume visited this bookshop to purchase a number of secondhand books. And on the same day, we now know that there were work being carried out on Mersham Street, making it impassable. Which means that the defendant's route home could not have taken him along Mersham Street and down Briar Road. Oh, yes, of course. What do you think, sir? Well, yes, you can't argue with that, really, can you? We must have had a good 2 yards or more of the pavement up. Every gentleman and gentlewoman that came along had to turn back and go the other way. So, the only conclusion is this. The defendant must have taken the longer route back to his lodgings. Yes, I suppose he must have. I suppose I must be right, eh? Juror number 3, you said the following. The man wouldn't have gone round the houses on his way back from the bookshop, but we see now that he had no choice. Yes! My lord, Mr. Judge, sir, if I may. Yes? I don't think, in all good conscience, that I can say the man's guilty now. Yes, I'd like to see this trial continue so we can get to the bottom of what really happened. What about you, sir? Who, me? Well, all right then. There's a hole in the prosecution's argument. It should be filled in. That's what I say. Oh, well done, Mr. Nadahudo. That was wonderful. Well, we've managed to change a couple of minds at least. It's strengthened our position somewhat. Yes, and it will prompt the other members of the jury to reconsider their stance as well. They'll be asking themselves if their current leanings are really right or not. Now, if we could just identify one more clue or discrepancy, that would make them stop doubting Mr. Natsume. We might be able to tip the balance completely. Yes, that's exactly what we've got to do. Van Zeeks is looking to bring this trial to an early conclusion. That's what we have to prevent, by whatever means we have to at our disposal. Thank you, counsel. On with the summation examination, please. Yes, my lord. I have to say not guilty at this point, so I can see where this trial goes from here. Whether it's digging up roads or digging up the truth, you've got to see it through to the end, haven't you? Alright, what's next? Press 6.
Hold it!
Hurry! Hold it, you say? Hold what? No. What I said was hold it. What I wanted to ask was, do you visit your books often? I like the old books they have in their ears. I enjoy reading them over a nice cup of old tea. My daily routine. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about. And at what time did you visit your books on the day in question? Oh, I was picking out books in there all afternoon, and it would have been just before 5 that I left. My daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about. Just before 5, you say? Exactly when the victim was attacked. Are you sure about the time? Oh, yes, no mistake there. I remember it well. Not about to forget that day in a hurry. Not after the dreadful time I had. What do you mean? Oh, I was walking down Calabash Road when I slipped on the ice and donked to my head. Always worse after the snows stopped falling. That's when it's most slippery. Knocked myself clean out, I did. Really thought my number was up. Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. This happened on Calabash Road? That's right. I live in Cornpipes, you see? Heading down Calabash Road is the quickest way for me to get back from your book. Juror number 6, I must insist that you add that information to your formal statement. It may very well be extremely significant. Sorry? Extremely sick? Oh no, I'm quite all right now. You've changed 2 of the jurors' minds, Mr. Naruto. Yes, just 2 more to go. Deliver that finishing blow now. Time to turn the tables here. Wish I knew how to do a Susato takedown. Those words will have to suffice for now. Alright. See what he said though. I slipped over that evening myself on Calabash Road and knocked myself clean out, you know. Yeah. It's 2.
Objection!
Those 2 statements clearly show a flaw in the juror's reasoning. A flaw? What are you talking about, counsel? Well, juror number 2. Juror number 6? Whatever do you mean, sir? I think perhaps the old man didn't hear you. Unbelievable. Not like I was loud or anything. There's at least one fact of which we can be sure here. The bookshop receipt found at the defendant's room clearly indicates that on the day of the attack, he had been to your books and purchased a number of second-hand titles, but then returned home on foot. But the man says he has no recollection of his return journey. That's correct. But what he does remember is seeing someone appear in front of him on the way. Someone in a green overcoat who suddenly collapsed on the pavement before his eyes. Yes, we are well aware of all this. The poor young woman who was stabbed, obviously.
Objection!
Can we really be sure of that, madam? Whatever do you mean? I'm sure you heard juror number 6 account of what happened to him that day. That same afternoon, there was somebody else apart from the victim, who was wearing a green overcoat and who fell over on the icy streets in the neighborhood. Oh my! My goodness, you mean? That's right. I'm referring, of course, to hard of hearing juror number 6. Are you really suggesting that the person in the green overcoat whom the defendant saw collapse in front of his eyes was the jolly old gentleman on the end of the bench here with me today? That is entirely possible, yes. After all, the old man has a somewhat similar build to the victim. Well, look at that! My goodness me! But, I need a pee. And critically, we know precisely where the old man in the green overcoat fell. On Calabash Road. Therefore, if the person who Mr. Natsume saw collapsing in front of him was in fact juror number 6, it means the defendant must have taken the long route back to his lodging. And if that's true, then clearly The crime scene on Briar Road where the woman was stabbed was not on his way home. Oh my! You idiot old man! You hadn't been so daft as to be roaming about there. We'd have boxed this off hours ago. And really, what were you thinking wearing such a befuddled coat? What did you say to me? Is it a crime for the elderly to walk the streets these days? Is it a crime to slip over on the ice? Is it a crime to keep up with the latest styles and wear a beautiful green overcoat, is it? My lord, I do hope it won't cause any, but you'd like to change your leaning, I presume. I do declare that I would. I should like to call for a verdict of not guilty. Thank you. And I would too. What? Is it a crime to change your mind? Is it? Well... Well, that summation examination is concluded with a rather large shift in opinion. The eyes, 2, the nose, 4. So the nose have it. Not guilty, they say. It means we no longer have a consensus among the members of the jury. The trial will continue.
Objection!
But it seemed churlish of me to drink from my hollowed chalice moments after raising an objection, only to crush it in disgust. Pray forgive the discourtesy, and that I pulled it out of my ass once again. But Lord Vinzit, it seems I must retract my earlier remark. What do you mean? I mistakenly credited these jurors with intelligence by describing them as insightful. Yet we have just witnessed them falling for a cheap trick performed by an Eastern entertainer. Hey! Whatever do you mean?
Objection!
I haven't tricked anyone. Everything I've said is the truth. Indeed. Stalwart juror number 5 was undoubtedly repairing the road as he claimed. I believe you said it was a good 2 yards of the pavement which you had excavated, sir? That's right. It took me the whole day and they paid me a measly 2 pence for it. Oh, my learned Nipponese friend, tell me. Do you have any notion of the distance that 2 yards represents? Well, if I'm honest, I don't have a clue, no. 2 yards is a little less than 2 meters. Less than 2 meters? That's not much at all. In other words, a distance readily vaulted by anyone of moderate vigor. Would you not agree, my stalwart friend? Me? Well, I can't say you're wrong, no. What? And did you perchance erect a sign to prevent pedestrians from passing the site of your work? I wouldn't dream of it. What a waste of time. No coaches would have had a hope of passing anyway, and we just turn any gentlefolk back when they come. They just jump right over us all the time. The accused is no gentleman, as far as I can see. I have little doubt, however, that he could spring over a 2-yard trench in his meanderings around town. Ah! Is that true? Is it? The incontrovertible truth is that the books just purchased by the accused were found at the scene. There can be no doubt that on his way back to his lodgings, Mr. Natsume walked down Briar Road. Crushed in a single sentence, And, old man, cold man, you can talk. You say that at around 5 o'clock on the day in question, you slipped and fell on Calabash Road? Pray, was there a suspicious looking Nipponese behind you at the time? Oh, I can't say as I remember. You don't remember? How about a wager, my learned friend? You say it was this old man that the accused saw? But I would lay 1,000 to 1 against you being able to prove it. Arrgh! Order! Order! Lord Van Ziggs, explain yourself! My lord, you had such a trenchant argument up your sleeve. Why in the world did you not proffer it during the summation examination? I wanted to give this young foreign student the sightseeing experience he no doubt came for. I wanted him to see for himself how the opinion of the jury is so readily swayed. But my hospitality has its limits, and they have been reached, I feel. So, my learned friend, today's sightseeing tour of London is now over. What are you talking about? My lord, the prosecution requests permission to call its next witness to the stand. Francis, bailiff, bring forth the witness. It's next witnesses? Mr. Nadahuda, do you not remember? We've been told on several occasions that there were eyewitnesses to the incident. Yes, I remember. One of them being a Scotland Yard policeman, no less. I'm afraid that's likely to be the prosecution's next witness. Alright, no matter who Van Ziggs brings to the stand as his witnesses, no matter what they say, I believe in Saseki-san. No, he's innocent. And I'll keep believing to the very end until this battle is over. Witness, please state your names and occupation for the court. Constable Raleigh Beat, sir. Nothing to report on the street, sir. And I'm Mrs. Beat. Patricia's my name. I'm proud to say I'm this young town's hero's wife. What's the story here? Well, in truth, we've not been married long. In fact, we celebrated our first anniversary only the other day. Oh, are you telling me that you've only been married a single day? No, it was your husband I was asking about. He seemed tired. Hardly surprising. Whilst being an honorable occupation, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world. Oh, really? I'm sure I've heard that before, actually. Indeed, apart from rare days off, our gallant officers trudge some 20 miles a day, you know. They patrol boarding houses and pubs, collect taxes, survey the streets, check that meters are reading true. And they're responsible for keeping the streets clean and lighting and extinguishing our streetlights. There are a number of items on that list that don't sound much like policing duties at all. I wouldn't just be falling asleep on my beat, I'd have collapsed long ago. But it goes without saying that a policeman's primary duty is the apprehension of criminals. Even when he's off duty, the constable is expected to investigate and resolve any crimes on his beat. But the London Bobby is a man of honor. And a man of slumber. On the day in question, this man and his wife were walking down Briar Road in the opposite direction, and they witnessed the incident as it occurred. Is that not correct, Mr. and Mrs. B? That's right, sir. Isn't it, Raleigh? Constable Raleigh Beat, saw. Nothing to report on the street, saw. What a great witness he's going to be. Very good. I'd like to hear your formal testimony now, please. You will tell the court exactly what you saw on the afternoon of the incident. Yes, sir. It was our wedding anniversary, and Raleigh was taking me out for a meal. There was no time to change after work. Anyways, two silhouettes appeared out of the fog on the pavement in front of us. All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor. Then the other scattered something before running off. We ran straight over her, of course, and then went for help at a nearby police box. It was definitely that Japanese man in the dock. Raleigh and I both saw him as clear as day. Well, this is extremely compelling testimony, I must say. Oh dear, this policeman and his wife are claiming to have positively identified Mr. Natsume at this scene. Their testimony is true. The alternative course of events that you establish in the summation examination will be quashed. It's death knell, in fact, because that alternative was never viable in the first place. What an unfortunate chance. And on your wedding anniversary too. Oh, I know, but I still managed to go out for the evening with my man. I thank the Lord for that. Gosh, life of a London Bobby sounds very hard indeed. Indeed, however, this cross-examination will be over in minutes. You may well have time to rest this afternoon. What do you mean by that? My learned friend, the witnesses saw the face of the man fleeing the scene. They are testifying under oath that it was without doubt the accused Mr. Sasaki Natsume. And one of these witnesses is a policeman, no less. So you appreciate the gravity of the situation, I'm sure. Except that the man's so tired, his wife has to do all the talking. Enough preamble. Counsel for the defense, commence the cross-examination, please. Yes, my lord.
Hold it!
No time to change after work, you say? Are you also a member of the police, Mrs. B? Oh no, sadly not. It's a job for strapping young men only. Women, children, and the elderly can't even apply. Oh, I think you can probably see why children and the elderly can't do the job, can't you? I think Raleigh looks ever so handsome in his uniform. It suits you down the ground, doesn't it, darling? What? Ah, I just finished my beat. Pat and I we're heading back to the station. I was actually planning on getting changed there. Is he talking in his sleep? This is creepy. Oh no, Raleigh. I much prefer you in uniform. Sometimes I don't recognize you when I see you in plain clothes. Oh dear. That doesn't seem healthy. Finally adhere to the point. You were going for a meal after you had finished your beat for the day, correct? That's right, Saw. Yes. Although I was fit to drop, to be honest, after spending the whole day on my feet. Well, policing is my life, Saw. As long as I'm the proud owner of this, I'll serve my city and my queen to the end. What's that now? My warrant card, Saw. Proof that I'm a London copper. It has the noble founding principles of the force written on it as a reminder to us all policemen of our sworn duty. To patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. Saw, and for such a noble cause I cover 20 miles every single day without fail and without a grumble. Because I know that the plodding of my boots is all Londoners need to hear to feel safe and secure. So, fighting crimes doesn't appear to come into it then? Saw, just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. Beat puts up with a lot being married to a Bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care. Oh, Pat. Oh, Raleigh. Oh, what a charming couple. Their young love is such a joy to behold. If a little over the top, perhaps. And then, kindly describe what happened next. This is going to be one annoying cross-examination.
Hold it!
Two silhouettes? That's right. They were coming towards us, walking up Briar Road in the opposite direction. There was a rather plump figure followed by a scrawny, thin-looking man. That does sound exactly like the victim is pictured in this print, and like Mr. Natsume. Yes, unfortunately, it does. And you're certain at that time there was nobody else nearby? Oh yes, quite certain. It was dark, but there are streetlights on Briar Road, you see. There was nobody else around at all. Is that right, my darling? What? Oh, yes, that's right. Of course, there was a light fog on the ground. But Briar Road is dead straight, and you could see a fairly long ways down the pavement. And then there's the street lighting as well. I didn't see any other pedestrians. Before sleep takes a firm hold, your answer, please, Mr. B. Are you quite sure of what you just said? Yes, Saw. As a copper who spends all day every day keeping watch on the streets, I swear to it, Saw. I'm as sure as my love for Patricia is true. Oh, Pat. Oh, Raleigh. They're still maintaining there was no one else around other than the victim and the attacker. It's starting to seem like that must be how it really happened. It's beginning to seem like there's nowhere to run. Well, that didn't stop Mr. Natsume, did it? He fled the scene all too convincingly. Thank you. I believe we have a reasonably clear idea of the situation just before the incident now. what happened in the crucial moments that followed.
Hold it!
Added something? What do you mean by that? Hey, Phoenix. Oh, well, I couldn't quite make out what it was at the time. Then, when we got closer, we realized what it was. Didn't we, darling? What? Oh, yes, that's right. It was some old book. I see. Old book. Yes, sir. The culprit had dropped a number of them, all around where the victim lay on the pavement. Indeed, it's clearly pictured as this photographic print. That rotten Japanese man did that when he did the deed.
Hold it!
Let's not forget that it remains to be established that the defendant was indeed the attacker. But we saw him! It was the man in the dock, without question, saw. The mustache, the hunchback, the cat-like eyes, the taut mouth, the snub nose, everything. Any more insults you want to throw in? That's right, he looked down at that poor defenseless woman with those terrifying, intense eyes, and then suddenly threw his books onto the pavement and ran away. I see. This is tough. They seem as though they're telling the truth here. They're kind of exaggerating the truth here, Ryunosuke. May I remind the court that this unambiguous testimony comes from a policeman and his wife. Now, please, continue. Isa.
Hold it!
Was it your husband who went to fetch help? No, I went. I may not be a police officer myself, but I am the proud wife of one after all. Isn't that right, my darling? What? Oh yes, that's right. I asked Mrs. Beat to go. I was off duty by that point. But Bobby's never truly off duty, of course, so I felt obligated to stay and guard the scene. Very laudable, Mr. Beat. Preserving the scene of the crime is a task of considerable importance. That's why I sent Patricia, you see. I told her where to find the right police box. Forgive my ignorance, but what do you mean exactly by the right police box? Depends on a crime's location, you see, as to who deals with it. Where the woman was stabbed wasn't actually on my beat. So I told Patricia the way to the police box for the beat the incident fell under so she could go and report it. I ran there as quickly as I could and asked for help from the Bobby on duty. There is nothing more potent than a young couple in love working together, you know. And thanks to your swift response, the case was quickly resolved. The actions of two model citizens. Oh, please, you're making us blush. Isn't he, darling? Yes, saw. What Patricia said, saw. Let's move on, shall we? But surely you wouldn't have been able to see his face by the light of the gas street lamps, would you? We absolutely could. Us Londoners have exceptional eyesight, I'll have you know. Right. The light from the street lamps was more than enough. And my husband already told you that the fog was only light, didn't he? Ah, yes, and what of the fog? We're famous for it across the globe, I believe. But it's an absolute menace to those of us who have to live with it, of course. Oh, it is, it is. When it's thick, you can't even see the hand at the end of your your arm. Yes, alright, I take your point. Now, could you stop shaking your husband about? Constant fog makes our eyes very sharp, you see. That's why we can tell for sure and certain that it was that little Japanese man we saw. Can we, darling? What? Yes, it was the accused and no mistake. The mustache, the hunchback, the cat-like eyes, the top mouth, the snub, and the unmistakable thaw. As far as this couple's testimony is concerned, there can't be any question. It was Saseki-san they saw running away from the scene of the crime. So that's it, is it? That's their entire testimony. What do you think, Mr. Nadahudo? Well, I hate to admit it, but on hearing the testimony, it really does seem as though Mr. and Mrs. Beat saw what they say they saw. Mr. Natsume running away from the scene on Briar Road that day. Yes, I feel the same. If that's true, where does it leave us? Members of the jury are sure to call for a guilty verdict after this testimony. Oh no! What do we do? Kazuma-sama were here. What are you trying to say? I think you would try to find a contradiction somewhere else within their testimony. What do you mean, somewhere else? Their statement about seeing Mr. Natsume is unequivocal. Calling that into question won't help. But if you could identify some other part of their testimony which appears to contradict the fact, you might be able to discredit them, to make the jury doubt if the pair's memory of the day is accurate. Oh, right. But simply, we must focus on finding a discrepancy in these statements somewhere. If we don't, I'm afraid the trial may reach an early and unfavorable conclusion. Why do I always seem to be so up against it? Mr. Lawyer, sir, can I ask you something? Oh, yes, of course. What is it? You keep asking us all these questions about everything we've told you, so it seems like you don't believe our testimony. Is that right? Is it? Well, out with it. What? No. Oh, no. It's really not that at all. My husband's a policeman, remember? And I know what I saw. I remember every last detail. Everything like, oh, I know. What about the books the man dropped? I could tell you the names of every single one I could. Every single one. And you dare to question how reliable my testimony is? And you... That will do, Patricia. No, it won't do at all. That Japanese lawyer has no idea what I'm capable of. Even if I decide to forgive him for insulting us, don't think for a minute that Raleigh will. I really don't mean to cause offense. Please, put your husband's fist down. Perhaps you would like the opportunity to supplement your testimony, Mrs. B? Might that appease you? Oh, thank you, my lord. That would settle things nicely. Wouldn't it, darling? I could even tell you the names of the 4 books he dropped at the scene. This turned into a 6-statement testimony.
Hold it!
Yes, we know that there were books dropped at the scene of the crime, as you say. Those purchased by the accused at the nearby secondhand bookshop on the day in question. After I'd been to the police box for help, I decided to have a good look over the area for good measure. I'm a proud policeman's wife, after all. I did it for Raleigh. And what was your husband doing at the time? Oh, he was lying face down in the snow, getting well-reserved rest. He works ever so hard, you know, ever so hard. Don't you, my darling? Interesting way of guarding the scene of the crime. Well, Mrs. Beat, seeing as you've regaled the court with tales of your powers of recollection, would you be so kind to recount the titles of the books you observed at the scene? I'd be happy to. Now, are you all listening? There was the picture of the Minster somebody or other, and what's it yearnings. Then there was a meal for someone, and the last one was definitely the thingammy something. You see? Yes, I see there are 1 or 2 holes in your memory. Oh, well, they were all along those lines, I'm quite sure. There were indeed books found at the scene with titles along those lines, as you put it. Well, what did I tell you? I think it's very, very mean the way you've been implying that my testimony can't be trusted. Don't you agree, darling? Anyone who upsets my Patricia will have me to answer to. Terrifying. Yes, she really is. So that's it, is it? That's their entire testimony. What do you think, Mr. Nadahudo? Well, I hate to admit it, but on hearing the testimony, it really does seem as though Mr. and Mrs. Beat saw what they saw. What they saw. Mr. Natsume running away from the scene on Briar Road that day. Yes, I feel the same. But if that's true, where does it leave us? The members of the jury are sure to call for a guilty verdict after this testimony. Oh no! What do we do? Kazuma-sama, we're here? What are you trying to say? I think you would try to find a contradiction somewhere else within their testimony. What do you mean, somewhere else? Their statement about seeing Mr. Natsume is unequivocal. Calling that into question won't help. But if you could identify some other part of their testimony which appears to contradict the fact, you might be able to discredit them, to make the jury doubt if their pair's memory of the day is accurate. Oh, right. Put simply, we must focus on finding a discrepancy in these statements somewhere. If we don't, I'm afraid the trial may reach an early and unfavorable conclusion. Why do I always seem to be so up against it? Alright, Di. Take this statement. Give me a number if you must. the new one, which would be 6. So she said 4 books. We're gonna do this.
Objection!
So you're saying that there were 4 books? That's right, I remember all of them. A picture of Minster somebody. What's it yearnings? A meal for someone and the thingamy something. What exactly are the titles of those books? The picture of Monsieur Lecoq, a meal for Gabarou, Canterbury Yearnings. I'm sorry, Mrs. Beat, but there is a fundamental flaw in that statement of yours. Oh no, what flaw? Simply that at the scene of the crime, there were only 3 books, not 4. What? This is the receipt from the bookshop where the defendant bought his book. Your book? Yes, and it details Mr. Natsume's purchases that day. But as you can see, only 3 books are listed. Only 3? But no, that can't be. I remember seeing them. There were 4 books, I tell you. 4 dirty old books. Oh, really? Have a good look at this photographic print of the scene of the crime. As you can clearly see from this evidence as well, there are only 3 books. Well, I mean, there could be a 4th one. But I just don't believe it. I saw them there, I swear it. I saw them. No, madam, I'm afraid your powers of observation cannot be relied upon. So it cannot be denied that though you say it was the defendant you saw, you could very well be mistaken. Oh no, oh no, oh no, no, no!
Objection!
It's plainly evident that it is your powers of deduction that cannot be relied upon, my learned Nipponese friend. What? What cannot be denied is that these 2 witnesses saw the accused running from the scene. A fact that you know very well you have no hope of disproving. Ah! So you've striven to avert attention from that by dint of some inconsequential discrepancy. Would that be fair? Ah, he sees right through me. But your plan has somewhat recoiled against you. What are you talking about? Quite simple. Let me explain with a touch. The policeman's wife, and their entirely accurate testimony in every respect. Oh? You see, the matter is not up for debate. At the scene on Briar Road, a total of 4 books were most definitely found. But what about the photographic print? It only shows 3 books. Quite right. Only 3 can be seen, That print. That print? You mean to say... Allow me to present another. One that shows the victim's hand. I don't believe it. It's the fourth book. As you will observe, the fourth book was hidden from view in the original print by the victim's torso. No! No! Well, we know where the lion's pride went to. Order! Order! There, you see? Look at that! Look! Yes. It's just like I said. Isn't it, my darling? Yes, Saw. Patricia's always right, Saw. Let us study the receipt for the books purchased by the accused on the day in question. Mrs. B, the titles once again, if you please. Ah, yes, of course. The picture of Monsieur somebody or other. The picture of Monsieur Lecoq. What's it, yearnings? Canterbury yearnings. A meal for someone. A meal for Gabaroo, in fact. And the court has just heard the witness remembers the book titles flawlessly, save for a few minor details. Mrs. Beat's power of recollection can only be described as exceptional. Did you hear that, Raleigh? The gentleman paid me a compliment. Yes, Saw. Flawless, Saw. Patricia is flawless. But there are only 3 books on the receipt, and Mrs. Beat mentioned 4. There's nothing surprising about that. Clearly, the 4th book is that which is shown in this photographic print. I'm sorry, counsel, but does that not seem odd? Why should the 4th book be omitted from the receipt? It's not odd at all, my lord. As the photograph clearly shows, the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, it belongs to the victim. The victim was holding her own book? I wonder, what became of that 4th book? Obviously, it wasn't overlooked by the investigating officers at Scotland Yard. I have it here as evidence. You will submit that and the aforementioned photographic print to the court, please, counsel. My pleasure, my lord. The prosecution rests. I have nothing further to add. What? You seem surprised, my learned friend. Your resistance until now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes, but futile. The spurious longer route to the accused lodgings that you tried to establish in your summation examination, and the attempted discrediting of the witness's powers of recollection in your cross-examination. Futile? Walked right into this, didn't I? You see, everything we've said is true. Isn't that right, my darling? Yes, Pat. Marry me, Pat. So, perhaps the ladies and gentlemen of the jury would like to reconsider their positions? Should the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty? Or is the decision you have to make all too apparent already? You have heard all of the witnesses and seen all of the evidence. This trial has run its course. Mr. Nadahudo, I'm afraid we're in a terribly precarious position. I know, but fight back in the wrong way now would very well just make matters worse. Think, Rinosuke, think. What do you do now? Well, Dai, the decision you have to make.
Objection!
I'm not done yet. Oh, my learned friend, it's over. The last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense. You failed. The die has been cast. There's no more room for debate. Well, it might be over as far as you're concerned, but I can't think of what to say. If I may, Lord Benzie, it seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point. Your insignificance, Little Eastern Isle must be a flawless whole indeed. For a lowly just judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene at a moment like this. Oh? I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you will have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable. Mr. Naruhodo! One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance, so the court will hear you, madam. Go ahead, Mr. Sato, please. Very well. Pray, what insight can you give us? What have we all overlooked in this matter that you see fit to pursue further? Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after that last cross-examination finished. See, and you believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you? Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think? It's just possible that this new evidence might be the decisive proof we've been waiting for. The judge is sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their leanings in a moment. And of course, be sure to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is and why. But we must take this opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible. Yes, I understand, and thank you, Mr. Sato. Well, let's go ahead and do that. So, there's the lion's pride. Oh, look at this. The book has been badly burnt. You're right. You'd never be able to read it in this state, especially not the latter pages. What a terrible waste. Judging from the scorched edges of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently. Book, recently damaged by fire. Why does that seem to raise a red flag with me? Alright, we did that. This is it. Sato-san has managed to win one last chance here. Can't let it go to waste. The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord. Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight into this case and has hitherto been overlooked. Well, we just examined it. Book! The evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print of the crime scene. The fourth book, found in the victim's hand.
Objection!
We have already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of the court's time. as you well know. Ah! Yes, I'm afraid, counsel, I must concur with the prosecution on this matter. When I afford you this opportunity, you led the court to believe that the evidence in question contained an hitherto undiscovered clue. So I must insist that you elaborate, counsel. You will identify this clue at once. Do I make myself clear? Oh, yes, my lord. It's from Mr. Nadahudo. I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence, which means you may very well be on the right track. Hi, yes, I think you might be right. So, counsel, precisely where is the vital clue to this case, which this fourth book conceals? Right. I pushed the wrong button.
Got it!
I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question. The back? What do you... Good gracious! It's been burned to a crisp! We have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It is undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing.
Objection!
Unnatural, you say? And what of it, my Nipponese friend? Oh? Were I to concede the point, but bears no relation to the case, there's nothing to discuss. So, did you wish to assert that this fire damage is some veiled clue as to what happened that day? Pray, do enlighten us all. What truth does this charred book hide? Charred book. There's just one possibility here which I cannot quite bring myself to rule out. An outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory. Don't keep us waiting any longer, counsel. Explain this theory of yours. What are you suggesting that you can ascertain from the fire damage this starry tome has suffered? We know this answer, Dai. My lord, the burn on the back of this book reveals a startling truth about the book's owner. I beg your pardon? But we already know who the book belongs to. The victim was gripping it in her hand as she fell to the floor after all. It's obviously hers. The question of how this book came to be in the victim's hand has yet to be answered. However, as to the question of who the book really belongs to and where it originated, the defense has very credible answers. Good gracious, how can you possibly? Very well, I'll play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. But do remember, members of the jury may well burn you if your little gamble goes awry. Counsel, the defense's response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of the trial. So tell the court, who do you claim is the owner of this burnt book? We know who it is, Dai. John Garadeb.
Take that!
The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who own the house where the defendant has his lodgings. A certain Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb. The landlords? And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know, but of all the people in London, One of the 6 chosen for jury duty is in this courtroom today. None other than Mrs. Garrett herself. Oh my goodness, me? I think you must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mr. Garrett's wife. I'm his maid. Things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretense. All right, then how about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garrett's house? I would never presume to know all of the books he keeps, sir.
Objection!
This is outlandish behavior. This woman is the accused landlady, you say? You implicate this hard-working member of the public. You besmirch her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable.
Objection.
This is not mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mrs. Garrett's house. Good Lord! What sort of incident, counsel? A fire, my lord. Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The poly furniture started going up as well. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite book called The Lion's Pride. A Lion's Pride? By Jove! The very same title that the subject of this debate. Oh dear me.
Objection!
This is risible. All you've told the court is that a book by the same name was involved in a fire, in which case it would be reasonable to assume that it was burnt to ashes, and entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself to the scene of the crime. Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord. Without going into detail, it appears that Mrs. Garrett was considerably enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Garrett even amid the flames. Oh, how awful! I can't even imagine being so horrid to the one you love. Can you, Raleigh? Absolutely not, Saw. My Patricia would never raise a finger against me, Saw. I had all my favorite old books in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. Then the wife started hurling things at me. There was I, back up against the window under heavy enemy fire, incendiary books incoming 10 to the dozen. The man had his back up against the window, and he had burning books thrown at him? Goodness gracious! Are you suggesting that the books were thrown through the window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime?
Objection!
No, a thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted the very evening of the incident. And there is no report of the Garret's window pane being broken. That's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Garrett household. But it is not conceivable that the window was open at the time, and not even remotely. Let us not forget the season and the chilling weather that accompanies it. No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter. Does the defense postulate this scenario in all seriousness, counsel? Do you earnestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Garrett's wife? I believe it's a possibility, my lord. That's quite enough. Well, I hope that everyone can see you for what you are now, you little foreign trickster. You call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward, a mean coward. Really? Claiming that our little tiff set the whole neighborhood alight, honestly. Implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance sake. How could you? It's nothing to do with this beastly case. Not any of it. All you've done is sully our family's name. No, I assure you that was never my intention. Dragging an upstanding citizen's name through the mud simply to divert attention from your failing defense. I should box your ears. That's what I should do. It's utterly unforgivable. Too right. Here we go. How long have we sat here now listening to this Nipponese spouting out his fancy foreign theories? But think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could possibly have stabbed the victim is that the little hunchback with the mustache, and he ran away from the scene too. I do declare you're right. It's true. Yes, what did I tell you? Makes sense to me. Sorry, what's that? Well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord Vinzi? In truth, my lord, I feel these have been unnecessarily protracted proceedings, and one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage. No, wait! Then, the mystery of the fourth book still hasn't been... If books are your predilection, my learned friend, study them on your own time. What? No forgive the discourtesy this time? Ahem. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the defendant's culpability for the court to hear.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Thank you for that unambiguous response. That's twice now. It's over. Mr. Nadahuda, don't give up. Mr. Sato, have you forgotten? The battle isn't over yet. You're not suggesting... Of course, the defense has the right to another summation examination at this point. You could still convince the jurors to change their mind. You have one more chance. My lord, the defense asked to exercise its right to a summation examination. Huh. You believe you still have tricks up your sleeve? I don't intend to trick anybody. I intend to uncover the truth. No time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, I have to stay strong and determined. Oh, nice. So, how long is the next part? I heard pretty long, so we should end it. Okay. So if that's it. Now, if it does not, if the next part does not go until 11 o'clock, then we have to determine on whether or not the next part after that we're gonna have to continue it. So next week's could end up being a short stream. So we're stopping here. All right. So tomorrow is going to be more Dragon Warrior. I can't guarantee you I'm going to finish it then, but after Dragon Warriors, we are going to move on to Sherlock Holmes. I've been working on a few things for there. Di, will you be there to see Sherlock Holmes? No. The game that I'm going to be playing is called Sherlock Holmes. That only works in the Great Ace Attorney. There are official games that are called Sherlock Holmes. So Di says she's not sure, but we got a little bit more time before we can. But I would like to see more people coming into the stream onto it, and hopefully we can get more people to come to Kick and more people to come to Twitch. So that's why I'm pushing for further advertisement, and that's why I'm starting on Facebook page. Now I have to get everything situated for TikTok and Instagram to get clips posted. So, all right. All right. So let me see what I have on. Uptime 15 seconds. Let's go ahead and raid Chadley. I think we can. It's been a while since we've raided him. All right. So, if you're on YouTube, give Chadley a like and a subscribe. If you're on Twitch, give him a follow. And we are out.